Chapter 12, Ruby Takes a Stand, updated. Every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, the church would send an old school bus through the trailer park. It would find Ruby and Kitty waiting to be picked up. Kitty loved it mostly because of the free Kool-Aid and cookies. Ruby had no opinion on the matter because her parents made sure she was going whether she wanted to or not. Truth be told, if all the trailer park kids rode at one time, there wouldn't be enough room on the bus. The driver would honk the horn once before moving on down the road. If you weren't standing outside or coming out of your front door, you got left behind. The only exception to this rule was for Dee Dee McClendon's kids. With getting 6 of her 7 kids ready for a bus ride that none of them wanted to take, she had her hands full. The tired mother needed peace and quiet wherever she could find it, and once a week the church gave her almost 3 hours of it if you included the bus ride. The one morning, the bus honked and moved on down the road without her messy-haired, runny-nosed kids. Dee Dee loaded them up and hauled them to the church herself. The choir was doing one final run-through before the service started. Let's just say many a pearl necklace was clasped as the young mother, who was dressed in her not-so-appropriate nightgown, marched those kids down the aisle to the front pew. Dee Dee paid no mind when the music stopped. She shifted the baby from one hip to the other. "Tell that man not to leave my kids again, okay? Y'all get 'em to the right place," she informed everyone staring at them. Afterwards, she sashayed back down the aisle. Ever since that shocking event, those McClendon kids were known for their perfect attendance, and Dee Dee never showed up to church again in a skimpy nightgown. The preacher said it was a win for everyone involved. On this Sunday morning, Ruby balked at getting on the bus. She needed to find money for popcorn at the puppet show. She was looking for coins in the street when she noticed Bertie walk into her car. "Why you all dressed up, Bertie? You going to church?" she asked. "Yep," Bertie answered. "Is it 'cause Miss Dolores said the devil gonna get you for wetting her new hairdo when she was walking that old dog?" "No. It's because that heifer done put me on the prayer list saying I ain't living right. Now those church women won't stop calling my phone. I'll get that old hag back. Mark my word, Rubiana. Mark my word." Bertie tossed her purse into the car. Ruby continued to look for coins. "What you buying now, child?" Bertie asked. "I sold enough candy bars to go to the puppet show. They're going to have popcorn and I want some," Ruby replied. "Here, maybe this will help get me off that stupid center list at the church." Bertie reached into her purse and gave the child $1. Now that all her worries about the puppet show were taken care of, Ruby retreated to her swing to wait for lunch, staying far as possible from her daddy's eyesight. Little did she know, before the day would be over, her life would never be the same. Both she and Kitty were already bathed and dressed in gowns. Her mama had one of her headaches, which meant an early bedtime for the girls. Ruby was coming down the hallway from the bathroom when she noticed her daddy reaching for the candy bar box on top of the refrigerator. She almost pushed Kitty down trying to get to the kitchen. She stood watching him pick the dollar bills out of the box. "That's my money." She got up enough nerve to say it out loud. He didn't acknowledge her, though. He had run out of beer, and all he cared about at that moment was getting more. Ruby had seen it time and time again. It was the reason she went to school without lunch money, the same reason the lights were turned off every so often, or the reason there was no milk for the cereal and sometimes no cereal. He would never remember what he'd do, but Ruby always did. "I said that money is mine," she yelled at her father, which had never happened before this time. Not to his face, anyway. He dropped the box down on the kitchen floor. The coins left in the box scattered all over the place. "No!" Ruby grabbed for the money as her daddy waved it in front of her face. He just laughed as he made his way out the door. Bertie and her handsome new neighbor were standing outside when they heard the commotion. Ruby was latched onto her daddy's arm and refusing to let go. "Give it back, it's my money," the child yelled again and again. Suddenly, both he and the child fell out the door and down the steps. Of course, he was already too drunk to feel anything, but poor Ruby skinned her knees and the palms of her hands. She curled up on the concrete pad like a ball, crying. Bertie yelled from across the road at the drunken man to stop. "I'll tend to you later," he lowered his voice at the child. Bo picked up the sobbing child and toted her back inside as Bertie led the way. Everyone in the trailer park knew something wasn't quite right in the Ruby's family, but what revealed itself this night would change Bertie forever. Rose Pickett was sitting on the couch watching the television and brushing Kitty's wet hair. She appeared oblivious to what had just happened, almost numb-like. Dishes were piled high in the sink. The refrigerator door, left open from Pete trying to find another beer, revealed nothing but a half tub of margarine and an empty beer box. "Rose," Bertie spoke in a soft voice. The woman continued brushing the child's hair. "Rose, honey, are you okay?" Bertie said again. In between the child's sobbing, they were able to piece together enough information to understand what had happened. Something came over Bo, and he mumbled to himself. "Where you going, Bo?" Bertie said as he opened the door. Hey, don't leave me with this mess," she continued, but her words fell on deaf ears. A mess it was indeed. On the counter next to the sink was a past due notice for the power and the water. On the floor in the girls' bedroom were dirty clothes. There was also a faint smell of urine from where Kitty had wet the bed again. An empty box of crackers and a half-empty carton of milk was sitting on the dresser. The milk was past expired and room temperature. In the corner was some papers, half burnt. Kitty was playing with matches again, Ruby explained. Bertie asked why did Kitty have matches in the first place, but Ruby just shrugged her shoulders. "Rose, you need to get some help, dear." Bertie sat down next to her. "I'm going to get you some, okay?" Bertie promised, but the words never seemed to register. Not sure what to do next, Bertie ran back to her trailer and called Dolores. Then she grabbed her dishwashing soap, her extra sheets, a can of biscuits, and a half of a gallon of milk she had in her own fridge. As the women quietly slipped out of Ruby's trailer, they noticed that Bo had made it back home. He was pacing on the sidewalk as they walked up. "Where'd you go?" Bertie asked. Bo said nothing at first. He seemed to be in deep thought. "Bo," she tried again. Hold on, I went too far. "Here." Bo handed the money over to his soon-to-be new girlfriend. Of course, it was too early for both of them to realize it. "Now, I know that drunkard of a man didn't just hand that over all willy-nilly, did he?" Dolores chimed in. "Hush it, woman," Bertie scolded. Bo continued pacing back and forth. The women followed suit, just pacing with him. "What'd you do, Bo?" Bertie's voice was sounding more and more nervous. "Give him room, sister," Dolores instructed as she reached for her friend's arm. "He's in a ditch down there at the 7-Eleven. So no, he didn't just hand it over all willy-nilly," he snapped back. "Is he dead?" Dolores blurted. "Lord have mercy, he's dead, ain't he? I know it, he's dead." "Stop babbling, woman," Bertie said as she was pawing at her friend's arm. The man took another long draw off his cigarette and flicked it on the ground. The wide-eyed women stood motionless as they waited for any sign of denial or, even worse, confirmation. "Oh, sweet Jesus, he's dead, ain't he? We're going to jail, Dolores, we're going to jail." Bertie stole the pack of cigarettes right out of Bo's shirt pocket. "What you mean, we? Why'd you call me down here anyway? I don't know these people. I ain't done nothing but change those nasty sheets and wash some dishes. That's all I did. I'm going home. Forget y'all even know my name. Jail? Oh, I don't think so. I done nothing. I saw nothing. I know nothing. I don't even know those folks. I tell you both. Don't know them. What you call me down here for? Dolores let her intentions be known. Oh, shoot. Hang on just a minute. Went too far. Bertie insisted Bo go on inside and not say another word to anyone. Come on, Dolores. We're going to see. Bertie yelled down the sidewalk, trying to get her friend to come back. Shh! You trying to wake up a few witnesses to all this mess? Dolores yelled back. The two women jumped in Dolores's car and headed to see if the man was dead or not. Deep down in the pits of their stomachs, they knew he was dead. Both even felt a little guilty, hoping he was. All the way there, each trying their best to justify the Lord taking the drunkard on home. Did you see that refrigerator? Those poor babies, one of them said. Followed by the other mentioning, not the first bit of food in there. Those poor babies. Does that sound better, guys? I hope so. And I'll probably tweak it about 15 more times. Hope you enjoyed.